I'm Craig from Consultant Advisory. This tutorial series covers the Excel 2016 Expert Curriculum. Download the file linked in the description and let's work through it together as we begin reviewing Section 2.3, Custom Workbook Elements. Let's get started. All right, I hope you can tell I'm a little excited. This is actually maybe one of my favorite sections in the whole textbook. A lot of the things that we're going to go through in today's video is stuff that I use all the time, and it has saved me so much work that I don't know how I could ever go back to not knowing or using these things. And to be honest, I'm a fairly late convert to a lot of them, and I wish I would have known about them 10 or 15 years ago because of all the time and frustration it would have saved for me. So let's take a look at a few of these things. First, we're going to look at cell styles, there's a lot of great things about styles, and there's a few downsides which we'll go through at the end. But let's go through how they work and why I use them so often. So, what a style does is it applies up to 6 categories of options, all in a single command or single keystroke, effectively. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Alt H to go to our Home tab. Our cell styles are there on the right hand side under J, and I'm going to hit N for a new cell style. You can see a gallery here though of all the cells that I currently have in my workbook. I could highlight any of these if I wanted to, and it would apply this style to my highlighted cell. But we're going to hit a new cell style here. So when I open this up, so there are 6 categories that are going to be included here. And if it is ticked, what's going to happen is that will get overwritten in that cell. So if I go to a cell that's already formatted, apply this style to it, all of these things will get overwritten. Now, if I don't want them overwritten, I can just unclick it. And then so I could change the number format, but leave the rest of these unchanged, kind of however they were before. So it's quite a powerful thing. So we tick the ones, or we select with the check mark the ones that we want to overwrite. To make the changes, we actually hit Format here. And then this takes us to our familiar Control 1 Format Cells workbook. And so the first thing is number. So again, I can pick any number formatting I want here, including custom ones that will get applied. So let's say I want this as a percentage with 2 decimal spots. I can click OK. And now when I look here under number, it's going to show, okay, it's going to be a percent with 2 decimal spots. Alignment is going to be a bottom align general, so that's kind of standard. But I could also change the font. So let's go to font, and I'm going to go to format. So now if I go to the font style here, I can change the font I want. I can make it bold. I can make it a different size. I can make it a different color. So now when I apply this style, it's going to overwrite whatever the previous font would have been. Leave everything else behind. Now, again, you can do the same thing with any of these things. We can change the borders, we can change the fill, we can change the protection. And again, if I tick this box, that change is going to be overwritten into the value in the cell. So I'm not actually going to create this one. I'm just going to hit cancel. There's some additional benefits of using these styles here. So again, I hinted at it that it can provide multiple changes with just a single click. The second thing is that if you modify a style, so let's say a little later on so over here on the right these are styles that I include in all of my workbooks because I use them all the time. So let's say here's my input cell. It's kind of a cream background with blue text. Let's say I wanted to change that, and I have 65 tabs in this crazy workbook. I don't want to have to go back and change every single one of those, but by using a style, I change the style, and then everything else flows through. So I can do that if I go into my style selection. I can right click on my input, and I'm going to hit modify. So here are the settings for my input style. And if I wanted to change any of these, I could, and then that would flow through everything in the workbook for me. Lastly, it's easy to move our frequently used styles to a new workbook. So I like using these. And if I open up a new workbook or someone else sends me a workbook, I can add these to that workbook very easily. What I would do is under Home, under Cell Styles, I go down to Merge Styles here at the bottom. Okay, now I don't have any workbooks open, but it would say, you know, here's the style I like would be in this workbook here. I would click OK, and then Excel automatically transfers over all of those styles to whatever workbook I was in so that I can have them everywhere. Or excuse me, in my new workbook. Lastly, there are a few downsides of styles. Okay, and so first off, they can be awkward to navigate using your keyboard. You know how I like to do as much with the keyboard as I can? Using cell styles is a challenge. If I have to go into the gallery, Alt H, J, now I have to arrow through all of these in order to get to the particular style that I want. So it's not really any quicker using my keyboard. That's one of those things that you'd probably want to use your mouse for. Now later in this set of videos I'm going to solve that problem for you, but for now it's a bit of a challenge. The second thing that can happen that I've noticed with styles is they can build up if you combine tabs from multiple worksheets. So if I take a tab from a worksheet on the left and I take a tab from a different worksheet I have or workbook I have open and then from a third, Excel brings with it any styles that are in use in that workbook. So if I had done this with 10 or 15 different workbooks and I can end up with a style list that has thousands, literally, of styles in it. And then to try and find the style that I want is crazy. You have comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. You'll have 75 different comma formats. You'll have 30 different input ones. It gets to be a real mess, and it's not handled real well by Excel. Again, though, if you stay tuned, I will provide you with the solution for that. I don't admit everything in Excel is perfect or without problem, but thankfully there's workarounds for most of those issues, and we'll get to that in just a little bit here. Next, we're going to look at custom themes. Now, I did say that a lot in this set of this particular chapter I like and use a lot. Themes is not one of those. Now maybe you use themes a lot in your work, which is great. I don't want to disparage it, but it's not something I do a whole lot. But themes allows you to apply a bunch of visual effects to your workbook in a consistent manner, and so depending on where you work, they may have a set of standards that they expect everyone to adhere to. Here's our corporate font. Here's how our headings look. Here's how our data looks. By being able to create a custom theme, you can make sure that you're compliant with all of that. Or if you're a freelancer and you're working for 3 or 4 different companies and they each have different looks, themes is a great way that with one kind of version of Excel that you can have kind of distinct styles that fit the guidelines for each of the groups that you're working for. But effectively what they are is a collection of color, font, and effects grouped together. So if we go to Alt P for page layout, we are going to hit T and H, and here are our themes. So these are the ones that are included by Excel, and it's a little tricky, but behind here you can see as I highlight them, you'll see some changes. So depending on which I choose, the fonts are going to change, the colors that are in the background are going to change, and so these are all themes that are already available. Now you can browse for themes from other workbooks if you already have them set up, or you can create a custom theme. And basically at the bottom here, by saving current theme, it lets you do that. Now what themes are comprised of is these colors, these fonts, and these effects. So what we can do is in colors, here are all our custom colors. There is a whole bunch here. Here's all the standard Office ones, but I can also customize. So if I customize the color, or if I select this custom 15 here, and I go now into themes and save a current theme, it's going to use that theme that I've highlighted. You'll notice that if you go into your color picker here, now that I've changed my theme, these colors here have now shifted from what they were previously. One key thing to remember is that if you have areas in your workbook selected with one of these values, and the next user comes along and has a different theme or chooses a different theme, all those colors are going to change, and you really have no control over what they're going to see. So something to be aware of. because it can get a little awkward. If what you thought was a great color scheme and you send it to someone else and they have a different theme set up, and all of a sudden what you thought looked really snazzy is going to look like a disaster to them. So there was colors, our fonts. Again, there's a heading font, so we go to customize here, a body font, and then you can see how this would look and give it a name if you would like. Now, one thing that I kind of do use with this is I usually will create a custom color scheme with corporate colors. Most corporations have a style book that will say, hey, this is our company blue, and it's this particular RGB code. And so I will usually create a theme that uses those colors. So that way, when I create a chart or do a report, and I print it or I save it as a PDF, that the manager or the board member is going to receive it and is automatically going to be more favorable to it because it looks familiar to them. It follows corporate standards or policies. Now these are the color codes for where I work currently. And obviously they're not going to be the same as your corporate colors, but I'll quickly show you how to change them so that you could set up a custom theme or a custom color scheme that would match where you're currently at. So let's go Alt P for page layout, T and C for colors, and we're going to go to customize colors. And now what we would do is, for example, for accent 1 here, we would go in here, we would select more colors. And once we do that, here is our RGB code. So for my company, I have the codes set up right down here. So I'll just use this green one because I can see it here. So it's going to have 0 for red. Green is going to be 178. And blue is going to be 129. And so now this color here you'll see is the same as that one. I can click OK, and now when I do my custom colors, I'm going to have that as one of the ones that I could pick. Now I'm not going to go through all of these because you probably don't really care about what my company's colors are, but you could set up all of the colors that your company has. You could set up in the name as my company, my co-colors, and then that way when you open up a workbook, you're going to have those colors available to you. Now, I found on my machine, and I'm not enough of an Office expert to tell you if this will be the case for everyone, but when I create a custom theme or a custom color set in Excel, it's also available to me in PowerPoint and Word. So once I've created it once, I can use it in all the related Excel products. So that's part 1. For this particular chapter. In part 2, we're going to go through macros and form controls, which are very powerful and something, again, I use all the time, so make sure you stay tuned for that. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe or give me a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. This is Craig with Carshalton Advisory.